I feel like every time I post a new YouTube video, I learn something new. So not only did I figure out how to put my phone sideways, I also got rid of the dog hair. I changed my shirt. Apparently, a lot of you have really high resolution screens, and you can see that I have a lot of. I had three dogs and a cat, so I collect a lot of fur around me. And my favorite Vertigo sweatshirt, which I wear all the time, which you guys probably noticed, it's like always dirty. So it's kind of like my work outfit in a way. But you know, if that stuff bothers you, I'm happy to put something on. So hopefully it hides it a little bit. The other thing I learned about YouTube is absolutely the comments should stay on. I never really thought about it, honestly. I thought it would cut down on drama, but a lot of people pointed out the fact that it's a fun place to interact for your YouTube friends. And if you don't have the comments on, a lot of customers, readers feel silenced. So, yeah, that's fair. And yeah, I'll absolutely leave it on. You know, actually, I'm really finding that I really like YouTube. I actually got 2 separate emails from 2 separate friends of mine who are very different politically, and they each basically said the same thing. They said that you come across way better on YouTube than you do on Twitter, which, thanks, I guess. And they said that they kind of said I was sort of coming across as a sane voice of reason amidst all the social media drama, which means a lot to me. If my perspective from my position helps in any way, in a positive way, I'm totally glad to contribute. When my wife heard me being referred to as the sane voice of reason, she laughed because she knows me for real. And certainly if you've read any of my DeviantArt video journal entries from back in the day, you'll know that I wasn't always as level-headed and calm about these things. But you know, now that I'm older and wiser, I have a lot more to lose. I'm trying to be more careful and more positive. I also like that it's hard to take me out of context on YouTube. You can't screen cap of something I tweeted or said and then try to take it out of context or assume that a lot of times when people see that quick tweets or screen caps, they just project their own political biases on what they think I'm trying to say. Most of the stuff I tweeted was generally meant to be helpful and to try to be reasonable given what I know about this stuff. But a lot of folks were bad actors and wanted to assume that I was trying to be negative or throw shade at a certain person, which is absolutely not true. And it's nice on YouTube because you can see me, hear me, you can tell that I'm an honest guy, maybe someone that you would probably have a drink with, a normal dude who is not screaming from the top of his soapbox trying to get his political agenda across. So yeah, I really like it here. Excuse me. I want to talk about customers and readers today. And to do that, I actually want to talk about something really personal. I've had massive problems with panic attacks in the last handful of years. And it really threw me for a loop because I've generally been very calm and even-keeled about most things. Very healthy, don't have a history of mental disorders, or I don't know what you would call panic attacks. If mental disorder is not the right way to say it, then whatever. But I don't have a lot of concerns. I mean, I've accomplished more than what I set out to accomplish in comics. Again, I pay my bills. I have the respect of most of my peers and get along with readers. Still young. I'm not, you know, a good candidate to get cancer or any kind of health disease. I'm not obese. So when I started having these waves of anxiety, I was like, man, why me? Like, there are people with real problems in the world who probably are more likely to have panic attacks. Why me? And honestly, you know, it's just one of those mysteries. And I know a lot of people get them, especially as they get older. The reason I'm bringing it up, I never talked about this before. The reason I'm bringing it up is because not only do I have them on airplanes, which stops me from going to a lot of shows. The reason I don't do a lot of international travel is because, you know, getting on a plane inside of a metal tube, going over the Atlantic with an 8-hour flight, and then having one of these things is like the worst feeling in the world. So I get really great, generous invites all over the world, like Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Dubai, just all these places. It's amazing because, you know, for me, signing up to do comics was always signing up for a life of poverty. And to get these incredible offers I just feel like it's so wasted on somebody that doesn't want to get on an airplane. But the way this ties into customers and readers with me is I've had these episodes while I'm at a convention, sitting behind the table with a line of 200 people, like waiting for me, some of them waiting for like an hour. And when you're having these episodes, I mean, it feels like you're going to die and your heart rate's going, and, you know, knowing that you can't just get up, start screaming and run out of the room with 100 customers there, makes it worse. And I don't want to leave people who've been waiting in line out to dry just because I can't get it together mentally. And even though I hope I come across as calm and even keeled, I do have these things. So I definitely empathize with people with their own mental issues that they're working with. But I've had 5 of these over the past 7 years. And my assistant knows, so I'll tell him, like, Jeff, I'm having an episode, and he knows it's like, you know, red alarm, let's speed this up, get Sean out of here, make up a bathroom excuse, find his medication, whatever the hell it is. Normally what I'll do is I'll stand up, I'll grab a Sharpie, I'll go to people waiting in line, and I will travel the line in reverse, telling people exactly what's going on. I really like my readers. I feel like they're great people who I can trust. And I've told thousands of them over the years, hey, I'm sorry, I'm having an issue, I'm having a panic attack. I'm really sorry, I'd have to leave early, but I want to sign what you have. Like, give me your books, sign. Here's your poster. Okay, photo. See you later. Next person. And it's really sort of surprising to someone who's waiting in line to see the idiot, and suddenly the idiot shows up standing over them like, how you doing? I got to get out of here. I'm having a panic attack. Quick, give me your thing. Blah, blah, blah. All right, see you later. That's certainly not the interaction that you wanted, and I do apologize for that. But the reason that I love customers and my readers so much, and why I have so much patience for this, is because not a single person over the years has ever tweeted or said anything online, ever, anywhere. If you Google it, it won't come up. They all seem to know my secret. I didn't even have to ask them to be cool about it. They just got it. And I just can't thank you guys enough. You know, when I get a troll or someone who's being negative, which very rarely, very, very rarely happens, I always try to keep in mind that this person might be in my line one day. I might have to go up to this troll and say, hey bro, sorry, let me sign your stuff, sorry I've been waiting, here you go, see you later. And that guy he's probably going to be fine with it, like, oh dude, I'm sorry, Sean, are you okay, can I help? You know, maybe he's a nurse and he's had experience with this. So even with my greatest trolls, I try to keep in mind that, you know, if I met this person in line and I was having an issue, a mental issue, or if I met them at a bar and they wanted to disagree with me about something in Batman, I can almost fucking guarantee you that we would find a way to sort it out and be cool and buy each other drinks. Like, I don't know every single one of you, but I know enough of you to know that we're cool. And I, hand on my heart, I swear, if you gave me 2 doors, and one door was filled with famous comic book artists who wanted to hang out, and one door filled with readers who wanted to hang out, I would absolutely take the readers every day. I love other creators, but I worry that some of them think things about me and have their own, you know, jealousy issues, or feel like I'm overrated, and they're silently saying this is a whisper network, and they feel, you know, it just, I want to hang with that crowd, but it is kind of a game at times. For me, I'd rather take the door with my readers because I know that there's no ill intent. It's just positive happiness. I'm not there to get my ass kissed at all. Like, I'm very interested in my readers, who they are as people. So yeah, I absolutely would hang out with all of you and probably get along really well with most of you. So even when I'm getting trolled, I try to keep that in mind. It's not always easy to do, but I do it. I've been doing this for 17 years now. You know, Twitter and social media wasn't necessarily part of the deal when I signed up for this, but it's something that I've tried to get better and better at over the years. And I think one reason why I don't get a lot of negativity is because I don't really make an effort to antagonize anybody. Even if you don't agree with me politically, even if, you know, I don't know what you believe. I don't want to know what you believe. You know, I want you to be happy with my book. I want you to read what you enjoy. I want your feedback. I want to improve the experience as I can, as much as I can. Yeah, that's just kind of the way I'm wired. The things that I think about politics, I don't put them out there on Twitter. There's plenty of angry liberals who you hear from. You don't need to hear from another one. Yeah, to me, it's a business. It's not necessarily helping all of this stuff. I get why people feel the need to. I get why creators want to exercise their freedom of speech, readers as well, and have these fights, but it's just not my jam. I don't want to go there, and this is probably the last time I'm ever going to even talk about politics on this channel, so there you go. So when I talk about customers, I want to make an important distinction here. There's customer service, and there's customer relations. And they're different, and it's important to explain the difference because a lot of people say customer service and they don't quite mean that. And I've actually done this too. I've made that mistake. When I talk about customer relations, generally I'm talking about this kind of stuff, or how I come across online in interviews, when I see you on the convention floor. The goal with customer relations is for me, to exude positivity, to be nothing but thankful and helpful. If you want to buy something, spend money, great. If you just want a handshake or a hug, that's fine too. I would like it if people liked me and wanted to buy my work and tell other people to buy my work. For me, doing that means positivity. Even when it's hard sometimes, I always try to take the high road, take a breath, and just do the business move and try to be as cool about everything as I possibly can. Which is actually very easy because, again, I really do have the best readers in comics. Customer service is sort of, well, we all know what that is. It's generally when you're dealing with customer complaints. Some businesses will have customer service departments. If you buy something, you're not happy with it, whatever it is, you want to fix the problem. Is customer service, what are my obligations to customer service? Well, for me, the big one is if I'm shipping you prints and they get dinged, tell me about it, I'll fix it. If I ship you a book or print or art, or you feel like the art that you purchased was overpriced, whatever it is, and by the way, those things would never happen, I and my assistant, Jeff, will fix it. I will go out on a limb to make you happy. The golden rule at my table at conventions is everyone walks away happy. I tell it to Jeff. He's excellent at customer service. He has tons of reserves of patience to deal with all kinds of customers, more than I do, actually. He's fantastic at this. So if you don't see me at the table, it's probably Jeff. He's the best there is in comics, and I generally try to work for the best. So Jeff, if you're watching, thank you. Our rule is everyone walks away happy. And I honestly have never been confronted or verbally assaulted by any of my readers at a show ever. Most people, even after waiting in line for an hour, are super happy and positive. And in case anyone doesn't like waiting in line, the first thing I say to you when you come up to my table is generally, how you doing? Sorry for the line. Sorry for the stupid line. Thank you for your patience. What can I do to help? I very much want to make you feel like you're welcome and be the guy that you want me to be. I want you to spend money, or I just want to shake your hand if you're a fan of the book. If the way I wrote Montoya means a lot to you, awesome. I want to hear about it. It really is nothing but love at shows. And the perception on social media is that there's a problem at conventions and there's some stuff that needs to be fixed. At least as far as the social vibes, I think conventions are fine. People are mostly happy and loving it. I'm not sure what problems there are at shows other than too many people wanting to go. I always try to be cool, especially if you're a parent and you're wrestling with two kids in a stroller while you're waiting in line for Idiot to sign your books. The least I can do is make an extra effort to try to be as energetic and positive as I can be, even if it costs me my voice, even if I'm there losing money because I could be at home working on Batman, whatever. I make it a priority to try to do that. I think the other reason I'm so focused on this is the last real job I had was actually working at Macy's selling suits in high school. I made double minimum wage because I was really good at sales, customers. And a suit at the time was $300, so some people would buy $1,000, $2,000 worth, and I got commission. I'd help them with ties, and I know all about double-breasted pleats. I could mark you up to get tailored. That stuff's my jam. That was my real job, and I was good at it. So I think that's probably why I come at it from this direction. I definitely feel the artsy-fartsy, creative, Jim Morrison type of personality inside me that wants to be alone, to be left to create, and don't you know the sad plight of an artist? Oh, God. But I try to tailor that with the militant business side of me that's like, all right, you dickhead, stop saying that shit. Try to get it real. Like, people don't want to hear your artistic insecurities. Don't wear your emotions on your sleeve. Try to be the blue collar guy. Your job is like a mechanic. You're not an artsy fartsy, twit. You're here to build a custom car, sell it to your people. Like, you're that kind of guy. And it'll be easy. I think the other reason I do that is just to sort of help keep the ego in check, because when you go to a show and there's 100 people waiting in your line, it's really easy to let it go to your head and to start acting like an asshole. And I don't want to, as I get older, turn into that guy. I always want to be grateful. So we talked about customer service versus customer relations. I will say that I talked about my analogy here as being a mechanic. So sometimes I feel like I am a small business. Sometimes I'm not. The way that I am like a small business is, let's say that I am a mechanic and I'm building a car. My car is Batman, White Knight. I do 80% of the work. Drawing, the writing, coming up with the ideas, whatever. The guy that helps me is my colorist, Matt Hollingsworth. He does the welding on the car. So he and I put the car together. He does 20%, I do 80%, whatever it is. We send it to DC, who's a manufacturer. They produce 1 million copies of the car. They ship it to dealerships all over the country. The dealerships have salesmen. They get those cars in the hands of the customers. Just like comics. We got the Batman book, it goes to DC. We don't ship to dealerships, we ship to stores, shops, LCSs. And you don't deal with a car salesman, you deal with your guy or your girl at your local comic book shop. That's how it works. If you let's say you're buying a car and you want to complain about the car. Normally what you would do is tell the dealer, tell the dealership, tell the salesman. You could even write to the manufacturer if you wanted. What you would not do is figure out who is mostly responsible for building and designing that car and contact him and complain directly to him on his Twitter. And this is where things get a little gray. Bear with me here. When people reach out to me, and it really doesn't happen that often, but if you wanted to reach out to me and tell me, hey man, I didn't like your book, I was annoyed for this, and that reason, it is your right to do that. You have freedom of speech. I'm on Twitter or social media. I opened up a road to communicate. If you choose to use that road to communicate to me in that way, well, I wish you were nicer about it. I wish you liked the book, but I should kind of expect that. It is what it is, I think your grievance is probably better served going the car route, telling DC or telling your comic book shop. But if you feel the need to tell me directly, that's fine. If you're really nice and polite about it, even better for me. If you want to troll me, being trolled sucks, but it's just part of the deal now. There's no way to be on social media and not expect to get trolled a little bit. When I do get trolled, I try to remember that I have 99% positive comments, so if I have one comment out of 100, that seems a little weird. I'm going to do my best to just suck it up, put on my Macy suit again, and be like, hey, sorry you didn't like it. I hope you like the sequel. Thanks for letting me know. I might be secretly mad and punching the wall in my studio, but the businessman in me takes over, and that's what I try to do. Not always good at it, but that's what I try to do. So that's kind of the difference of when you complain directly to me about a book. That's where creators are really bad at this. Is if you buy a car from Honda and don't like the car, and you complain to the manufacturer. Honda has people, I assume, that deal with customer service in many different types of ways. But in this example, you would be contacting me. I design your Honda. And if you don't love it, you're going to get into my studio, into my head, and reach me in a very personal way and tell me why you don't like this car that I struggle to build. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying that's the big difference of customer service, customer relations, whatever you want to say. As a reader, should you be allowed to reach out to me and tell me directly? Yeah. Is that the best place to put your anger? Not necessarily. Is it my job to respond to those comments and to fix things? Yes and no. In a way, yeah, if I could try to turn you around and make you see that I'm a nice guy trying to be polite and I can save a customer, save a sale, then I should do that. But, when I signed on to do comics, this wasn't really part of the deal. If you're a pro and can manage to put your suit on and try to be a pro during these slightly negative interactions, you should do it. Or don't respond. And that's a big thing. If you feel someone is being mean to you or trolling you or whatever, don't respond. Don't put fuel on the fire. No one is making you respond to that. Or limit the amount of interactions you have, or take it off your phone, or do what I did. Just have I have an assistant, because I'm Sean Murphy and you're not. I have an assistant, he takes care of that shit, and I just find ways to turn it off. Like, I'm a big Joe Rogan fan. I'm sure Joe gets trolled on YouTube. I don't think he gives a shit about the comments or looks at YouTube. I mean, social media addiction is a real thing. I was able to beat it recently, and I feel a lot better turning down the negativity. And yeah, I know it's not for everybody, but it suits me really well, and I love it. And one of the things I always try to remember is if you look at Delta Airlines, their customer service rating, I think at one time, is like 2 out of 5 stars. It's atrocious. Airlines, of course, everyone's unhappy flying these days. You wouldn't expect anybody to get 5 out of 5 stars if they own an airline, obviously. But my interactions generally are 5 out of 5 stars. Even if I have 1 out of 100, that's really a blip in the... It's not even worth complaining about, honestly. It's not even worth feeling. If 99 people just told you you're awesome and one guy says he didn't love Batman, yeah, it probably is going to get into my brain more than I should let it. But at the end of the day, I mean, Delta Airlines would kill for my customer service ratings. So I try to keep that in mind when these things blow up. It's not always easy because we work alone. We all get a little bit weird without social interactions. I feel like during the quarantine, we're all starting to realize what it's like mentally doing this, for example. So that's just what I try to keep in mind. So just to reiterate here, if people want to complain about a book to DC, fine. It's probably the best place to do it. If you want to complain to me directly, I will take it on the chest. I will try to bear it and grin because that's just who I am, what I try to do. It's hard for me to accept those things because I just dumped 10 months into a book, for example, and hearing that stuff really does hurt me. But I try not to let it bother me, and that's the key. What else do I have here? Is it my job to do that? Yes and no. If you can try to be nice to your customers and readers, you obviously should. Keeping people happy at your table, we talked about that. I guess the only kind of customer that I have a hard time dealing with is people that feel entitled. And this is kind of happening more and more as companies like, I don't want to name companies, but as companies start to react more quickly to negativity or positivity or whatever trends are happening on social media, you are empowering your customers to feel like they have more of a stake in the property. You as readers, you don't own Batman. I don't own Batman. You and I are sort of borrowing it from DC. It survives in our head. Should DC care about what we think about Batman? Absolutely. If it doesn't feel like they're listening, it is annoying. But how much validation do we have to demand that they do a new movie or demand that they make another Star Wars or demand this or that? That's kind of silly to have those arguments. As much as you might feel that way, I mean, give me a break. This is capitalism. That's not how it works. The company doesn't have to listen to us. You vote for your dollars. So if you're not into the next Batman or Star Wars or whatever it is, then just don't go see it. Common sense, but it definitely needs to be repeated a lot. The other type of customer that I might get, I've never really had this person, is someone that's just unreasonable. So it's like, hey man, if you... when I did a book called Punk Rock Jesus years ago, I had people come up to my table who were sort of annoyed by some of the content. And most of the people that came up, and this actually is why I got sort of good at trying to see the other side of an argument, realized that I like this person, they just happen to agree on these things. And with Punk Rock Jesus, it was religion, so it's kind of a big one. But I got really good at sort of talking people off the ledge and saying, hey man, sorry I didn't like it. My wife's religious, which she sort of is, and that kind of takes them down, takes their anger down a bit. and say, you know what, I feel like as long as you're not like anti-woman, anti-gay, or anti-science, those are my things. Generally, I get along with everybody, you know? And I think seeing that early on in my career, like, let me see, I did punk rock Jesus when I was in my late 20s, early 30s. Going to shows and having people come up to me and sort of demand to talk about their religion while they're waiting in line was kind of startling, but I had to get good at it, and I managed to do that by learning how they think, how they talk, and sort of telling them, hey, I know you feel this way because you feel it attacks X, Y, and Z. I get it, man. Like, I was raised this way too. You know, there's some things I don't agree with. I'm sure there's some things you don't agree with about it too, but, you know, I really appreciate you coming by. I'm so sorry it offended you. And I think when I reacted that way, a lot of them went from like angry to like, oh, okay, well, you seem like a cool guy. If I see you later, maybe we'll get a beer together. Like, yeah, sure. I'm not going to a bar to find you, a guy who yells at me, but whatever. For the sake of argument, I'll see you later. So everyone walks away happy. That's the rule. What else is there? Ta-da-da. Let me see, I talked about the dog hair and all that stuff. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I am still pushing forward on my Indiegogo. I'm supposed to be designing a cover today, but this is actually the 6th time I recorded this video for different technical difficulties. Hopefully, I had a bird fly into the window at one point, so hopefully he's dead and I won't have it again. Yeah, I'm working on the cover soon. Once I have that, I'll put some images together for the actual product. I'll tell you what the book is about. I'll have a link, all that stuff. Yeah, so again, we're still shooting for 3 weeks from now, middle of May, so stay tuned. Thanks for being cool. Thanks for your positivity. Thank you for your comments. And yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye.